This is my 2011 Cayenne that I purchased, I guess, 3 years ago. And for 3 years it is staying on my driveway. I never drove it anywhere besides moving it back and forth on the driveway. It runs and drives. Currently what we are looking at, I have 2 codes for the knock sensors. And the codes are P0332 and P033C, and it's pretty much low input from those sensors, or sensors are too quiet. It's not kind of common problem. I did search, I was googling on the internet, and I did not see many posts about this problem, and I did not see many solutions about this problem. I recently replaced the coolant vent line that lays under the intake manifold. It's barely can be seen from here. I remember when I was working on it, I saw that there was quite a lot of dirt and probably sod or debris and signs that those sensors been flooded by the coolant. And at least one time when this coolant vent tube was busted. Possibly it wasn't the only time when it happened. So I assume theoretically it could be that the coolant made some boo-boos, either for the maybe connectors, the wiring, maybe sensor doesn't like to be submerged in liquid. So what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna lift this intake again. I'm not sure if the sensors are good or bad, but I purchased another set of 2 sensors. By the way, there are 4 knock sensors, 2 in the front on each side of the banks and 2 in the back. The codes I was referring to, they refers to the sensors in the back, that I think is a little bit easier to access, because theoretically to access the front sensors you're supposed to remove the thermostat housing, which is the pain. But the rear sensors are situated underneath the starter motor, so I think it's easier to remove the starter motor than the thermostat housing. So the first thing of operation, I'm gonna undo the fuse number 13, if I'm not mistaken. This is the fuse, 25 ampere fuse for the fuel rail, because we're gonna have to dismount the fuel rail as well to get underneath. I don't recall if I'm gonna need to remove the coolant vent tube that I just recently installed, or I'm gonna be able to go around it. We'll see. But for now, I already removed the upper engine support, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna remove this pipe, this crossover pipe. I'm gonna remove the air oil separator because it slightly interferes with the intake, and that's it pretty much. Okay, let's start with the intake. I already loosened those pins on both sides. Flathead screwdriver to release the clamp for the throttle body. Sorry guys. Okay, let's continue where we stopped. The clamp for the intake should be more or less loose. Few connectors. The throttle body. Come on. This one. Some map sensor, I think, or something like that. This one. We have this pipe going should be super careful. The old plastic is brittle, and you definitely don't need extra parts to purchase. Okay, let's remove the oil separator. Okay, let's remove the crossover pipe. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need a pick to help me release the pipe, or it's gonna let go. Definitely don't want to stress it too much. Okay, the one side is undone. You know, the other side is probably gonna go together with the EOS. It's what's that? It's E10 reverse or inverted short. Okay, this is undone. We have this sensor. I think there was something in the back. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, looks like the manifold is free from this side. Let's move to another side. On this side we'll have one electrical connector to the flap actuator valve, and then the vacuum connector to the same, or vacuum hose to the same actuator. But we'll be able to get to them, I think, only when we slightly move the intake, you know, to the front. All right, let's start to undo the intake, I think. Okay, all bolts are undone, and let me try to gently move it to the front if possible. Maybe it's not undone completely. What's holding us? One bolt wasn't totally undone, but right now I guess you can see this like little shiny press thingy on a connector that I need to press on, and I just removed the connector. It's pretty much slided out because, again, I recently removed it already to replace the vent, the coolant vent line. That's why everything is kind of easy. So the last thing there in the back is the vacuum line, and it sits pretty loose, and if I'm gonna pull it, it's simply gonna unsnap from the back kind of automatically. But I'll try to be very careful. I don't want to break anything. Okay, let me see if I can gently guide it. Yeah, it's already undone. So the intake is out, and as you can see, everything is clear, clean, I guess, in here, and I also have the brand new gaskets for all of the ports. I just put some, paper in the intake ports, but I'm not sure what's happening here. Again I see the coolant on the right, or I would say driver side, because everything was clean here when I put the vent line, and again I can see some coolant marks on a brand new vent line. Is there a crack somewhere in the block? What's happening? The line came with a brand new O-rings, and last time the line was bursted on this driver side as well. So this was the place that was totally split open. Right now it's not split open, it's tight, but again, okay, maybe that's the problem for another time. Let's keep our attention to the to our problem current, which is the NOx sensors, and there is one right there, there is one right there. So I went ahead and disconnected the battery. Very easy, only remove the chair. Okay, let's remove the fuel rail. 14, yeah, it's 14. Alright. Be careful if you had your engine, working recently. There may be enormous fuel pressure in there. Mine didn't run for a month or 2 or 3, so not much of a pressure left in the system. Okay. The fuel line is disconnected from the injectors. Now we have 4 bolts holding the line in place. Alright, bolt number 1. If I'm not mistaken, not all of them are similar lengths. I guess one of them is longer than the other ones, and I dropped it. Nice. Hopefully I'll be able to fish it out. Okay, let's continue. And we have a tricky bolt back in there. I'm gonna use the claws to snitch it out. Hopefully it's gonna behave. Nope. That's funny. One more bolt. Okay, the rail theoretically is loosened. Pressure sensor needs to be disconnected. How do you look like? I remember it was kind of tricky to okay, I got it out finally. So the battery is disconnected. I found one of the bolts, I think. Yep, there is one. The sneaky one. And there should be the second one somewhere there. I'll find it. Starter. Interesting if it's possible to get the starter off without the removal of this coolant, crossover or whatever it is. Hopefully it is. We'll see in a moment. Okay, the big nut on a starter is 13 mils, I think. It's gonna be definitely two parts for this video because I'm losing the daylight here. I guess another like maybe 10 minutes. Undo the signal wire from the starter. Don't lose a nut. Okay, signal wire is undone. This power. Interesting how to get this one off. Maybe the removal from the enclosure will somehow helps us to take the wire off. Okay, the wire is off. What about this one? The second one. Okay, the second wire is off, so the starter is free of the wiring. Now we have a couple bolts to undo to get to the starter. Okay, to get to the first of the bolts holding the starter, I'm using this U-joint, and it's gonna be slightly tricky because it's right on the top of this little brittle coolant vent hose pipe, and it's tight. Hold a second, guys. I guess I need maybe some more leverage. Okay, let's let go. Okay, first bolt is out. I'm trying to get to the bolt number 2. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get enough leverage. Yeah, let go. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be possible, how it's gonna be possible to put it back. Really, because it is somewhere there. Can't even imagine. Probably gonna glue it onto the socket. I don't know. Do you think there is any chance to fish the starter out? Kinda doubt. So starter is loose. That's the second bolt from it. I don't believe that you need to remove the freaking coolant system to replace the starter. It's not right. Come on. Hold a second. There is the cap on top. Maybe that's the trick to do it, or is it just Let me try to move this wiring situation slightly, or it's actually not the wiring that stops me, or is it? Come on, baby. Oh my god. Yes. Starter is out. Okay. So this is the bolt that I lost right here. So I have now all 4 bolts from the fuel rail, and this is one of the culprits. Right here, the NOx sensor, and right on the other side is the other one. As you can see, it's half submerged into the coolant. So this definitely could be one of the reasons. Not necessarily it is, but could be. I'm gonna clean the coolant, and I'm gonna undo those sensors. It's gonna take me some time, and you can see like there is a bunch of sediment in the same valley where the NOx sensor is. So the coolant loss been definitely the long time problem for this one. That's the next day. I'm not sure if it's part 2 or still part 1 of this video. I have no idea how long it's gonna take to, edit the video, but as of right now I would like to test the wiring from this NOx sensor and that NOx sensor that goes into the engine computer, which is located somewhere here. And 2 T30 screws should release this bucket that diverts the water into the drain, and right here you can partially see the computer. So let me take those 2 bolts and remove this bucket thingy. Okay. That's removed, and there should be 2 connectors. So this is the numbering of not sure if you can see anything here or not. Let me we're interested in sensor 2, for example, so it's gonna be second from the top. We're interested in brown wire 47 and white wire number 71. So it's gonna be 47 and 71, and they are very close to each other. 47 is a second from the right on this second row, and what was it? 71 is actually right below it, second from the right on this black connector. So I'm gonna use my multimeter and I'm gonna check the continuity from here up to the sensor connector, and I also gonna check if any of those wires are shorted to ground. Let's say if the insulation is bad somewhere, I don't know, the critters, the mice choose the wiring somewhere, it doesn't look like it. I don't see anything specific that shows the mice has been here, but no, just to be sure, since we're already there, we're gonna pull the plug out from the connector, the sensor number 2, which is this one. sensor number 1, sensor number 2, sensor number 3, sensor number 4. I got the codes for those 2 rear sensors. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll try to carefully remove the connector from the sensor. Hopefully I won't break it. And I just broke the tab. That's not good, to be honest. But what you can do, it's very brittle because it's so hot in here when the engine is running. And so brown and kinda whitish. So let's do brown first. Contact number 47, and it's supposed to go to the brown. Where is this? The brown. Does it? Or it's also too fat. Come on. Okay. Let's check. Okay, that works. Then we take number 71, and it's supposed to go to the white wire, kind of white, and it does. And let me make sure they're not shorted somewhere. Yep, there is an open line, so they're not shorted. And let me check if any of those are shorted to the ground. For example, I'm gonna put one of them inside and let's say probe the engine mount somewhere, or anything. Nope. And nope, none of them are shorted to ground. Okay, I'm gonna repeat the same thing for the sensor number 4. Alright, for sensor number 4 we should have number 46. It's 48, 7, 45, I'm sorry. Sensor number 4, it's 45 for the brown wire. Okay, where's our probe? Goes to the brown wire. Good. And number 69, so it's 7271 70 69, going to the white wire. Okay, we know the connectors are good, and I'm gonna again check if they're shorted to the ground. Let's say nothing here. And nothing here. So wiring is good. I'm gonna replace those 2 sensors. Hopefully they were delivered. I didn't open the box yet. Hopefully they're there. I got 2 brand new Bosch sensors. This is the part number in case you're gonna need them. It's a 5mm hex socket, or bit if you wish, and it's again not very convenient. And by the way, I am using the 0-degree wrench or ratchet. I think I got it from Raymond Ray's Repair link. It's pretty expensive ratchet. It does not have any clicks. It's totally silent, but it grabs pretty much right away. It doesn't matter if it's got if your ratchet has a 120 Cs, for example. This one grabs nearly instantly. So if you have something tight and you are limited in your angle of rotation, So this could be your savior. So I am looking here. There is no any suspicious, signs inside the connector. So this old NOx sensor looks good. This the mating surface. Let me show you. The mating surface of this connector looks really good. All right, sensor. The new sensor goes in. Carefully. Don't want to introduce anything under the sensor. And for this operation, we're gonna have to use the torque wrench because this sensor needs to be torqued with a specific torque value because it affects its normal operation. Oh, it's pretty tight. Come on. Oh, okay. Just let go. Okay, second sensor. Again, the connector area looks clean, but you can see it was swimming in the coolant. And new sensor goes in. And actually I would like to position the connector slightly towards the top, so in case the coolant, and I know the coolant gonna be here again because I will put the intake and I will run the vehicle, despite I know the coolant goes from somewhere here, but I don't know from where exactly. And in order for me to find it, I need to run it again. Actually, I need to clean the area from the splashes to make sure my observation will help me to determine from where it's exactly coming from. Alright, I'm gonna bust the torque wrench and we're gonna torque those guys. Alright, sensors are there and I'm going in with a 23 Newton meters. What? Okay, and the other one. All right, give it back. Now the interesting and sketchy part. If I'm gonna be able to install the starter back. Okay. I'm planning to remove the intake again in order to figure out this coolant leak. So I will be replacing this connector, but I think right now it should hold on because there is no any tension that pulls the connector out. So I don't think in a short run it should present any problems, and I'll be able to get the wire out even with the starter in place, since there is no connector, and I'll be able to use something kind of to push the new connector back in. So I think I'm pretty okay to have the starter to install. And I wish I would remember what angles or what did I use, or to push, or to do what I did yesterday. Almost. Now the tricky part is gonna be to get the starter bolt back in place. Maybe not. I can see the hole. Just don't want to drop the bolt. Okay, the bolt is kind of in the hole. Where is the hole though? Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, long extension. I can't tell if it's going in or not, but possibly it may help to... Where's the second bolt? Possibly it may help to install the second bolt, and at least I'll have more guidance, I think. At least from one side. I think it's going in. I'm gonna use U-joint. Okay, this bolt definitely going in just fine, and the only question is the first one. Okay, I can see it. Really hard to tell, but I think it's going in. Looks like it. Yep, the starter starts to tighten. All right, I'm gonna torque those. Okay, one is torqued. Now U-joint again. very careful, don't want to smash the new vent pipe. Okay, good. You can see some coolant maybe in the valley because I unbolted the kind of the culprit side of the vent pipe that I thought is leaking, but I didn't see anything kind of suspicious in there. Like I thought maybe I'm gonna see like the O-ring was damaged when I initially installed. No, the O-ring actually looked really good. I didn't see anything kind of suspicious in there. Alright, now it's time to try to install maybe okay one interesting. What was the first one? No, this was the okay. I need to install this first. At least my OCD requires me to install it because it was the first when I removed it. Otherwise I won't be able to sleep at night knowing I put them in somewhat different way. Okay, I'm gonna put this nut first and then the little one. So this one is 13 millimeters nut. Make it tight, but don't go crazy. Okay, good and tight. And now the control wire. All right, now it's getting interesting. Okay, trying to magnet out the nut. Okay, success. Take two. Okay. Fancy ratchet. Nothing crazy. Now it's time for a fuel rail. Okay, let's do the fuel rail. I'm gonna remove those caps that I used to preserve the injectors from any sand or whatever that's flying. And so this is the orientation. It was kind of tricky to have it. Okay. Come on. All right. Better. All right. What do we have here? I guess it was 14 millimeter wrench used to tighten those. Alright, want them to be good and tight, but do not strip anything, because you know it's gonna be a bad day. But there is like very high pressure here. Anything loose will spray the fuel out. Looks okay. Now 4 bolts here, and then let me try to remember. 3 were short ones and 1 was the longer one. I think the longer one goes here in this spot. Let's test this theory. Yeah, looks like it. It's so weird when the ratchet doesn't produce ratchet sounds. It's like something is broken in there. And for the ones in the back, I'm gonna use those claws to guide the bolts first in the hose, because I don't want to lose them. And actually, I forgot to put this starter cover. Hopefully I'll be able to do it now. I want to remove the, how it goes, the fuel line. Okay, all good. Let's find the correct spot in here. Huh, the rail doesn't sit right. Let me release the nuts again. I don't want to do it, but you know. Just want to make it just a little loose. Okay. All good now. I just needed a little persuasion. Let me check. All right, try to go gently. Yep, it goes in. Alright, I won't tighten it until the bolt number 4 is in place. I'm gonna use those close again, and okay, looks like bolt in the hole. And this time I can tighten. One, two, three, four. Now the rail again. Okay, looks like everything is tight in this department. Okay, let's recap. Sensor connected. Let me make sure it's all the way in. It is. Rail connected. The vent pipe connected back. I'm gonna wipe the intake mating surface. As you can see, it already kind of was clean inside. Just removed it very recently, last time, for this vent pipe. And the coolant system is still not happy. Okay, it's time for me to bring the intake again. So this is the vacuum hose that goes inside the valve. In the intake, this is the connector for this valve. It looks like everything else is in order. I want to make sure everything is clean here. So once it's gonna blow, I would like to have a better chances to see where from. All right. The trickiest part is to make sure that all those seals are in place when we install the intake, and it's gonna be really funny too. Really fun, I would say, to connect the vacuum line in the back, because you can see a lot in the back. By the way, did I put the vent pipe back in the kind of proper receptacles, holders? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, looks like I did. Okay, we are a go. I'm gonna install this elbow into the vacuum line. It's easier to navigate later, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's cramped in here. It's always very fun. We are kind of there. I just need to remove it again slightly first to guide this vacuum line, and I cannot see it. Where are you? Okay, vacuum pump in. Just need to make sure everything else lines back in place, and I can even try to install the connector now, while I'll have at least a tiny space here. There's my screwdriver and a little push on the connector. Come on. Alright, connector installed. Now let's make sure all the gaskets okay, looks like, oh no, we lost one of the gasket. Alright, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Maybe it's possible somehow to realign this gasket. Without the complete removal. And I bet I lost the vacuum connection now. I'm gonna remove it. And the connector. Come on. connector removed. So I guess the main troubles are those bolts that are protruding and they're catching everything on their way. I think this is what, you know, makes that thing, the whole task, slightly more challenging. Where's the connector? Not a connector, but the vacuum. Ow, 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 everything is so sharp in here. Connector installed. On this side the gaskets are okay. And this gasket again is kind of trying to fall out. And it kind of did. I'm gonna tighten the intake some, and then we're gonna use the torque wrench to actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start just like that to avoid any cross-threading. Come on. What's happening here? Can't get to the last bolt. Yeah, the last bolt requires like the slim extension and stuff. And the first one here. Right now I'm gonna use the power tools just to save a little time. Okay, let me figure out what is the torque settings for those bolts, and let's do them. So it's 15 Newton meters for the intake. Let's start with the center one. I could tighten it actually more. So now we can button up everything else, whatever we disturbed. So this line goes here. This goes here. Now we need this crossover pipe, the oil separator. Okay. those pins that holds the duct in place. I won't lock them because I'm gonna need to remove the intake again to fix the coolant issue. But for now, looks like we are a go for launch. Everything is connected. We need to connect the computer. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. All right, connectors connected. I'm gonna put this protecting shield in place. Actually, looks like this shield has been held just by one bolt. I could leave the second bolt alone. I connected the battery, I installed the seat back, I put this fuse for a fuel pump back in place, and we'll try to start the car. First of all, I'm gonna turn on the ignition for the few times just to pressurize the system, because we remove the fuel rail. Let's check if it's gonna start. Brake pedal. Not for the first time. Come on. Almost. There you go. All right. Diagnose. What is it? It's Porsche. Okay. The air suspension started to lift the vehicle. I can feel it. Automatically search. And DME. Read fault code. It's probably gonna have a bunch of them. Clear fault memory, no fault codes. I'm gonna let it warm up a bit. I don't want to rev it when it's cold, and it's been sitting for a few months. So give me about 5 minutes for it to warm up, and we'll see if revving will do any bad or any good. I can start to feel the warm air coming from the vents, so I guess we can slightly rev it, and something like that was enough last time to trigger those codes. So far nothing. So far nothing. And the indications the code were set in the system, I had reduced engine power, you know, popping up on that screen. Let's go to the messages, or the messages, info, messages. So right now I just got refill washer fluid message. And nothing else. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little more time to warm up, and let's check for the coolant. I can see this the steam coming, but I guess it's the steam from the coolant that I spilled when I disconnected this vent pipe, and you can see it, I guess, slightly right in the center of the screen. You can see the bolt holding this pipe in place right now, right in the middle of your screen. So far I don't see the coolant leaking. Let's check out under the car. So far so good. Okay, let it warm up a little more. Okay, let's read the codes. Okay, how okay, let it do its thing. Check for modules. Parking brake. Okay, that's all because of the diagnostic happening right now. Okay, it's still doing its thing. Few modules with the codes, and I guess most of them should be related for me disconnecting the battery. Plus I know a few codes related for the headlights not being hooked up. Oh my god, so many modules to... That's it? Or no? Okay, I'm gonna clear. Okay, first of all, let's go back to the engine. Read fault code. Okay, no codes so far. Let's clear DTCs. We'll see which one's gonna be cleared, which one's not. Air conditioning, I know, should have the code because the AC is not charged. Okay, front end electronics, key, battery flat, communication with the garage door opener. Where do we have garage door opener? Yeah, nothing is there. Interesting. I don't recall this code, to be honest. front end electronics. No, that's what's interesting. The air conditioning module complaining that it cannot communicate with the left headlight. I'm not sure why air conditioning needs the left headlight. Okay, no headlights and no lane change assist control unit. Not sure what happened with it. Headlights, okay, so all the codes pretty much related to the headlights and lane change assist, and I'm really not sure what was the deal is, because it was working. Okay, I don't see anything related to the reduced engine power or to the engine. So, as strange as it sounds, those two NOx sensors looks like been bad. Okay, let's check. No more coolant for now. The tank is almost full. I spilled just a little bit today. The engine is working nice. I would still like to replace the engine mounts, because I can feel the engine vibration on the body, so most likely those mounts are collapsed. Okay, I'm gonna let it run for another 5-10 minutes. It's already dark outside and I'm still sitting here and still the temperature, let's check. The temperature is fine. No messages, no DTCs. Looks like at least this problem was fixed by replacing the NOx sensor, 2 of them. And yeah, I still have some gremlins to chase. And let's check if I will. Okay, I thought it's error for the for the reduced engine power. It's the error for the headlights, because I turned on the headlight switch and it did its test, and yeah, the headlights are not there. Right, I'm gonna turn off the engine. I'd like to observe how's it going in here. You can hear some sounds, but I'm primarily interested in this coolant vent pipe, but looks like nothing is happening around it. I'm not sure if you can see it at all or not. Probably right now you can see it. Okay, maybe I will hold off with the intake removal for now, and I'm gonna check it later. I'm probably gonna start it later again, just to test the coolant system. I know it's dark here, but again, thank you for staying with me through this painful process of replacing the NOx sensors. It's definitely DIY doable, just takes a little patience, and you guys saw how many times it took me to try to reinstall the intake back in place until I finally was able to connect the vacuum line and all the gaskets for the intake were in place. Other than that, I guess the starter removal was kind of tricky, but thankfully we were able to remove it without touching the cooling system, which is a big pain. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.